I bought a lav mic.
Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another green screen video featuring my new lav mic. I'm very excited about this. And what are we going to talk about to celebrate? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to be talking about none other than Game of the Year 2025 Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Which, that title, bit of a mouthful. We're just going to be calling it Expedition 33. Expedition 33 has been taking the world by storm. And for good reason. I mean, the game is actually just an accomplishment. It's so good. Which makes talking about it a little tricky because one of the game's greatest parts is the story. Now, I want you to go play the game. I want you, if you've never played it and you don't know anything about it, press pause right here, go play the game, and then come back. Now, that said, I know a lot of people don't have 35 hours of free time to pause a YouTube video. I would appreciate it if you did, but you probably don't. So I'm going to give you a spoiler warning. The story is incredible. I mean, the story is incredible. So with all that said, this pseudo review, I want it to target more so what I believe the game's impact and greater accomplishments are with regards to the industry itself, rather than the actual specifics about the game. So with that said, I'm not going to talk about anything story related with specifics until about the prologue. The prologue is where I'm going to talk about story specifics and give specific examples, nothing else. The footage is all going to be from Act 1 or the prologue, nothing from Act 2. So with that said, let's just start at the start. Now, if you want my no nonsense, honest, no fluff review of the game, here it is. Not since the Nier titles have I felt such just despair and melancholy and nostalgia at a game soundtrack. And not since those games have I felt such a draw and hope for characters. And not since then have I felt such existential dread, yet belief in humanity for a game's story. With all of that said, let's actually get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my review of Expedition 33.
I'm here.
Expedition 33 has been taking the world by storm, and for good reason. I mean, the game is actually just amazing, which makes it a little tricky to talk about because the game is so just that I don't want to talk about story specifics for anything but the prologue. Now, I know what you're thinking. Potato. The game's a turn-based RPG, and it's got French people. I hate it already. And you know what? I get it. I mean, I hate the French just as much as anyone else who's not French. So when I say this game made me care deeply about French people, you should listen. You should listen. So, Expedition 33 is an actual achievement in gaming. It was made by a small studio at Sandfall, and it was their debut game. I mean, that alone is wildly impressive. And then more and more information started coming out about the development for this game. And then we found out the lead writer for the game is. Wait, no, they were hired originally to be a voice actress, and then they became the lead writer, and then they wrote characters like Gustav? Whoa, what? And then the game's soundtrack, the thing that I was talking about in the intro about how it just made me feel such a complex set of emotions. Yeah, remember that? Oh yeah, just a dude on SoundCloud. They just found him on SoundCloud, and they were like, oh, we like your stuff. How was he not at a studio already with exclusivity signing some of the best music in the games industry already? He's just on SoundCloud. I mean, how does that happen? And then the team at Sandfall, that's right. 30 people. Yep, 30 people. 30 people. And they made a game that looks like this. 30 people. Not even 3 dozen people. Not even 3 dozen people. And it looks like this. That's just crazy. It's an achievement. It's an achievement to have made a game with compelling characters, an incredible story, a soundtrack that haunts me in my dreams, and visuals on par with anything that any AAA studio could put out. And they did it in a cave with a box of scraps. But let's talk about the actual game and gameplay wise. So the gameplay is turn-based RPG. And it's weird. It's very reminiscent of like other turn-based RPGs, like the original Final Fantasy VII, or I mean, it's got a little bit of Persona in the actual like UI and design and everything. Was Gustav actually a Phantom Thief? And it's also got speed tiers or speed like turn order things, which is very reminiscent of Pokemon Legends Arceus, but with a lot less Bidoof. Now, I know turn-based RPG, your brain just says, I don't want it, get it out of here. They do a bit to keep you engaged in the combat. Like, it's not just like press A on Earthquake until you beat the Elite Four in Pokemon. They do actually try and keep you understanding what's happening. And they do that by adding real-time elements. So you've got your standard fare of like basic attack, and then your skill that uses a resource that you can generate by using basic attacks, or you get it. You've played in. But what they do change up is interesting. They add real-time elements to it by giving you a dodge and a parry. Now, dodging is significantly easier. The window's just way wider. It's not huge, but it's way wider. The issue is there's not as much reward for dodging. Like your reward is not taking damage, which is a good reward. Parrying, however, that's where it's at. The parry window is tiny, but you are rewarded if you parry every attack in a chain. You will do a counterattack for some pretty good damage, and that can help lead into your buffs and things. And it's a good risk versus reward mechanic, and it keeps you engaged in the fight. Now, they don't want you to just parry everything, obviously, but the way that they went about doing that is they made the enemy attack timing just a little funky. There's a lot of memes about it online. I mean, just watch this video. It kind of summarizes everything pretty fair.
Why is he not swinging? How supposed to parry this? Bruh.
It feels really, really good to play actually and strategize and kind of build your meticulous little teams so that they all have their own synergies and you can put Mael in virtuous stance and then kill everything really easily. And it feels really good to do that. But let's be real. This game's not getting Game of the Year off of its gameplay. The real reason that people play this game. Let's talk. So, I want to put my spoiler warning in place again. If you have any desire, just based off of the passion that you've seen come through in this video, because I understand I'm way more animated than I usually am. And that is in part because of the laugh, but also because I have a really good, passionate topic to talk about. If you've been motivated at all and been interested in the game, I genuinely urge you to just slap pause on the video right now and go play the game. Come back in your 35, 40, 100 hours. I'm not going to judge. Just come back and press play after that. I do want the watch time, so don't X out the video and then move on with your, go play the game. Come back. But genuinely go play the game. I don't want to, it's way better to experience the first time without really knowing anything beyond. It's about French people and it's turn-based. Those are the only things you need to know, because that's really what I knew, and that it's a great game. Those are the only things that I knew going in, and it was way better than anything I could have asked for. So if you have any desire, just stop right now, go play it, and then come back. Those of you who are just going to press on with the video, we'll continue. Those of you who did leave and came back, I hope you enjoyed the game. How about that Act 1 ending? So I'm only going to talk about specific examples using the prologue, because there are a lot of things that I think I want to highlight, but just know that it still remains true throughout the game. It's just that I can give you more specific examples if I talk about the prologue. So the first thing is the writing. I mean, the story is just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And just to think that this was created by somebody and they had a vision of this, I feel bad for them because their brain must be tough. But I'm glad that they were able to put this out there because it's incredible. And to top it off, the writing is really, really good. But I think what really takes the cake is just how compellingly written the characters are. They all have really good motivations. I understand them. They feel like real people. And to illustrate how well written the characters are, I will point to the prologue. There's a character who's a prologue exclusive, Sophie. The reason she's a prologue exclusive is because she dies. But there's so much more to it than that. You find out that your main character is Gustave, my favorite. And he and Sophie had this thing a while back where they were in love and happily so, and they were working on the aqua farms, and they were trying to make life in Louvière better. And they were doing, these are two really capable people who were making their city better. And some irreconcilable differences pushed them away from each other. They couldn't stay together because they loved each other so much. They still appreciated each other and they never fell out of love. They just couldn't be together. And it's a really, really, really sad thing to think about. But it's beautiful, right? These two people meeting for the first time in a while because Sophie's about to die. And they know that Sophie's about to die because you see that big glowing number in the distance. This is kind of related. That big glowing number in the distance, that is put up and changed every year by the Paintress, the main villain, the villainous force behind the game. she kind of every year counts that number down. And so right now it says 34. But when she erases that and puts 33, anybody who is 33 or older, which shouldn't be anybody because 34, they get gommaged, which is to say they get Thanos now. So Sophie and Gustav spend Sophie's last day together. And I mean, it's really impressive to get invested in a character that you know is going to die. Everybody knows is going to die and is on screen for maybe 20 minutes. Yet she's so well written because our hero Gustav is also so well written, and their interactions with each other feel so genuine, so real, that you look at it and you're like, damn, Sophie just died. Gustav, we gotta go stop this. We gotta go get revenge. We gotta go stop the Paintress. And there's Gustav as well. I mean, he's even better written than Sophie, because obviously they gave him way more thought, because he's in way more of the game. I mean, he's our main character. So. And boy, did they write him well. I mean, he's capable. He's not necessarily confident, but he knows what he has to do. And so he knows that if he doesn't even try, it'll be worse than if he did. So he's got to try. He may not succeed, and he understands that. But he's got to try anyway. And he's so genuine. Every time you use his ultimate, he says, for those who come after. And you can tell that it's a creed and a motto that he lives by. He's not doing this, even though the love of his life just passed away. He's not doing this just out of spite, out of revenge, just to get back at the Paintress. He's doing this so that nobody else has to experience it, so that he is the last person who can say that the love of his life was taken away by this malevolent force, and that now kids can grow to be 100 if they are able to, not just 30. There's a really good line that's said partway through the game that one character is having banter with him, and she calls him an old man. And it's weird because in their world, I mean, he's 30. He's one of the oldest people alive. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, I could talk about Gustav all day. I love that guy. But the prologue is designed well from a gameplay perspective as well. It shows off the core mechanics of the game, your combat. There are little secrets sprinkled throughout that show you that your exploration and your sense of curiosity and wonder and intrigue will be rewarded. And there's little character vignettes around. Like there's a guy hiding in a trash can who thinks that if he hides in the trash can, he won't get Thanos snapped. I like to imagine he didn't get Thanos snapped, and he lives in that trash can today. And it also helps that we talk about the writing, because it was written by a voice actress. She wasn't meant to lead the writing for the game. She was meant to talk good. She's meant to do what I do, but like actually good. What kind of talent does she have? My goodness, this game is so incredibly written. These characters are so well written, and that's the thing that carries a lot of the game is the characters. You just want to see them interact and see how they react to things and do things, and they react and interact, and they don't jump the shark with what they do. They always do things that they should do because they feel like real people, and you can see the thought process behind their actions. It's incredible. It's incredible. Speaking of incredible, let's talk about the game soundtrack. Remember, made by just somebody on SoundCloud. Just somebody on SoundCloud. Yeah, they made that. You know, the reason that I initially even had this game on my radar is because I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that said, this game's soundtrack probably is about on par with the Nier games. Now, I took offense to that because I am the #1 Nier soundtrack sim. I just love every song. I mean, every song from a Nier game is so good. It's so good. Even Reincarnation had amazing music. When I say that these songs, like Alicia, are as good as songs like Song of the Ancients or even Amusement Park, know that I mean that genuinely, and that means that this music is phenomenal. There's so much ethereal beauty and wonder and just melancholy, and it's just the emotions that I feel when I listen to the songs of this game are beyond complex. And that's a good thing. That's some of the best experiences that I've had out of Nier games, is that I will feel so many different emotions just from listening to a song. There's a word I'm sure that I don't know with regards to this, but the closest that I know of is the word synesthesia. Now, synesthesia is the phenomenon wherein one sense will evoke the feeling of another sense. So, for example, you will hear a sound and see a color. That's the basic idea. This game has that for like the video game equivalent, where if I think of a location from Nier, let's use Amusement Park because I want to put that soundtrack in the video. If I hear the song Amusement Park from Nier Automata, I can see the amusement park and I can feel what it was like to walk into that place for the first time and experience all of the things that I experienced, like how the robots don't attack you unless you attack them, or the car that shoots out all the little balloons and that's your first tank battle. Oh, and then there's also the roller coaster and how it changes and it gives you a new gameplay style, and that all leads up to the ballerina fight. I can experience all that just from hearing the song. And the other way is true too. I can see that big old heart in the castle, and suddenly the song is playing in my head. And it's the same with all of the locations in Expedition 33. Best example, because I'm trying to only use the prologue, is Lumiere. This song, I love it. It's great. And it makes me remember and experience all of those emotions that I experienced in the prologue. So, speaking of Nier, let's talk about the legacy of great games. I want to use some specific examples from other games. Baldur's Gate 3 released to a great fanfare. It was amazing. It was awesome. And it showed us what developers were capable of if they had enough passion, talent, skill, and time. They didn't have an executive team sitting over them saying, no, let's put that behind a paywall. It's very well documented that the people who made Baldur's Gate 3 wanted to make the most fun experience that they could. And they did that by putting in all these different design decisions and systems in place to empower the player to have fun on their own terms. Another great example of this is Helldivers 2. It's 100% evident that the folks at Arrowhead love what they do, and they wanted to make an amazing game. Not a game meant to make a lot of money and nickel and dime people. They just wanted to make a fun game, and they did the best that they were capable of. They they had a vision, they wanted to make it, and they did, and they wanted to make it as fun as they could, and they did. Now, my next example is a little wishy-washy because we don't really have great insight into a lot of Japanese game developer studios. But I want to use Elden Ring by From Software as my next example. This game just really took the world by storm as well. And while I don't have any specific and quantifiable data to support this, it's more of a feeling than anything. Elden Ring was made by people who wanted to make the best Souls experience that they could. You can tell just based off of all the design decisions that really give you the freedom and just empower you to have fun. And that is what's going to wrap me around to my Nier games discussion. The Nier games are some of the greatest games of all time. But what I want to talk about for them is actually a review by SkillUp about 8 years ago, in which he declared that you could not declare the game of a generation while you're still in that generation. But it takes time because you don't truly know the impact of a game until a decent amount of time has passed. The reason I want to bring that up is because I agree. We won't know until the time has passed what the actual true impact of Expedition 33 will be. But I can tell you what I hope it to be. What I hope for Expedition 33 is that it shows AAA developers that they don't need to chase trends and follow the bottom line. A great example of a game succumbing to the trend and probably gonna die by it is Bungie's newest game, Marathon. It hasn't come out yet at the time of recording and releasing this video, but it has been announced and it's been shown off. There have been a closed alpha and a lot of headlines have come out about this game, showing that management has been blocking their creativity, stifling them. They've been proven to have plagiarized from another artist on Twitter. And that the reason that they're making it an extraction shooter isn't because the developers wanted to make an extraction shooter. The developers have come out and told us that they have told the management teams this game should have PvE. It shouldn't be a PvP focused extraction shooter. That's not Bungie's bread and butter. It's going to alienate their current market with Destiny 2. It's just not going to do well. And management has stopped them and told them, no, we're doing this. Because they saw dollar sign. They saw a glut in the market for an extraction shooter about 5 years ago. And they've kept to their guns ever since. Now, they're probably going to get smoked. Extraction shooters have not been all the rage. They're for a very niche set of games. There's only one that I've even considered thinking will make it into mainstream appeal. And that's a new one on the horizon called Arc Raiders. Bungie is out here putting up Art Raiders instead. Expedition 33 and Sandfall have shown that these AAA companies filled with C-suite executives who have done absolutely nothing with their sorry lives except for fail upward aren't the way. We know that these studios have passionate developers. We know that they have a lot of talent and skill. And all these executives are doing are chasing the bottom line, beholden to shareholders, trying to make sure that this game gives them a golden parachute. Instead of developing a game and trying your best to make a great game, a game that hasn't been created before, a game that you want to play, developers at these studios are too worried about whether or not come next year they'll even work here anymore. It's gotten egregious with the amount of layoffs and redundancy that's happened in the industry and the mass exodus of talent and skill and just knowledge, collective knowledge, that has left the industry due to people trying to chase the bottom line. That's not a discussion for this video. Not as much as I want to. So let's just settle down a little bit on that before I actually get really, really angry. Let's go to my closing thoughts. This game is nothing short of lightning in a bottle, but make no mistake, we should absolutely continue trying to bottle that lightning, because if a game can have even a fraction of the magic that Expedition 33 has, all that time and money would have been absolutely worth it. Game studios are too busy with chasing the bottom line instead of trying to make a great game. Swen Vinke butchered that name, I'm sure of it, said at the Game Awards in 2024 that the Game of the Year winner for 2025 and the next year and the next year and the next year, he said that it would be made by a studio who wanted to make the game that they wanted to play. By a studio who made a game because it wasn't out there already and they really wanted to see it. Not a game made by a studio beholden to some shareholders and chasing their bottom line. Not a game studio who, if the game didn't meet sales goals, was going to lay off half the staff anyways. None of that. He also said that change is coming. And I think that Expedition 33 is a sign of that change. They followed the path laid out by others before them, and they have made their mark on the gaming landscape that I truly hope will last for years and years to come. Thank you for watching. My name has been Potato Pies. Goodbye.
Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans aide.